Hey, my friends, just before we start this podcast and the intro, I just want to say this episode is a complete New Year's resolution free zone. Okay? It's a free zone of New Year's resolutions. Now we'll begin. Hey, here's your heads up to this longer podcast. And it is a nice length of podcast. I hope it's a nice length of podcast. But it's all about something which will, I know, change your life if you do it. It's not difficult, but it's so easy to do. You just need to have the will to do whatever it takes and commit. And once you commit to do this thing, it's going to create wonderful things in your life. It's going to get your goals and dreams to come bigger, better, faster than you could ever dream possible. And I love sharing these type of things with you because I know it's going to make a difference. So please, in this wonderful unplugged world, have a look at this. Have a listen to this and just do it. Enjoy.
Warning.
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 Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
Hey, my friend, welcome back to the BDU. And what are we going to talk about in this podcast? Well, if you know me well, hope you do, but if you knew me well, you will know I will not talk about New Year's resolutions because I think they're absolutely rubbish. Because if all you're going to do is a New Year's resolution in New Year's and then let it go after the first week, well, you've just wasted time. And I think you can change any day of the week. You can set a goal any day of the week, of the year, of the month. You do not need this New Year's resolution. In fact, I think New Year's should be more of a review of the year. See where you've been, not where you want to go. Just see where you've been so then you can reassess how your goals are going and what you're going to do. But this is not anything to do with New Year's resolutions, but it's a brilliant thing to do to set yourself up. So, have you ever heard of this great saying that I heard a little while ago? Don't let life live up to your negative expectations. You see, when I heard that, I thought, whoa, I had to play it again. Don't let life live up to your negative expectations. And that got me thinking. You see, there's that other saying I've been telling you about. Whatever you think about, you'll get, whether you like it or not. And I thought, they're linked a little bit, aren't they? They are linked in a way. So don't let life live up to your negative... Say that again, Paul. Don't let life live up to your negative expectations. And then just add, whatever you think about, you'll get whether you like it or not. And also, have you heard this being said by somebody? Not necessarily you. This is not one of those things where, look inside. But someone might say to you, I used to have a friend like this who said, if it's going to happen to me, or if it's going to happen to anyone, it's going to happen to me. I'm so unlucky. I'll never win anything. Well, they didn't win anything. And they had so many dramas in their life. They would go on holiday. The flight would be wrong. The hotel would be thing. They'd slip over on the floor. The food would be, they'd get ill. Everything in their life was a drama because if it was going to happen, it was going to happen to them. A self-fulfilling prophecy, isn't it? Prophecy. Get it right, Clovey. And I kept thinking about this. Is this a little bit like whatever you think about, you're going to get, whether you like it or not? Because they're thinking about things that have gone wrong, things that may go wrong. And they're actually telling people out loud, not just to themselves, they're telling people what is going to happen to them. And lo and behold, it does. And they don't necessarily wallow in it, but it does happen. And they do have a lot of stories, don't they? And in fact, then life is, I guess, living up to their negative expectations because they expect this thing to happen and it's not positive, is it? So I do think, though, we do all have a little bit of this in us, don't we? I wonder why that is. Well, I did wonder. I'd like you to wonder along with me. Let's have a little muse. You see, we've all got this reptilian brain, this one of that very first one, that very low brain. And it's there for protection. We're told about it everywhere you go. This reptilian brain is there, saves you from saber-toothed tigers, the attack of a dinosaur, all that stuff. And we've still got it. Okay, we haven't got the dinosaurs, but we've got other things going on. So therefore, it's there to protect you, keep you safe. But does it? Well, sometimes. But on other times, it can lead to overwhelm, can't it? In the way that you get these endless loops because you haven't done something, so it keeps it going over and over and over again. There we are. We're thinking about this negative thing going that might happen, that could happen, and we're going into this overwhelm. We also even extend it out with this wonderful power of imagination we've got. We think of the very worst could happen, but it probably wouldn't, but just in case. And then we don't end up doing anything, or life lives up to our negative expectations, and it does happen, of a sort, not maybe as bad as we thought, but it wasn't as positive as it could have been, or whatever we were thinking about comes along, whether we like it or not. See, the other thing that happens too, which is somewhat linked, is our negative experiences. And negative experiences are there again to protect us. Well, they should be. By remembering them, we should learn from them. And if we've learnt from them, then we don't need the negative experience to stay up in the forefront of our mind. We don't need that negative emotion, the fear, the stress, the anxiety from it. But sometimes we just haven't learned because we're still staying with that emotion. And if you think about this, how easy is it to find a negative situation from your past? It's easy, isn't it? Ask anybody and say, can you think of something that was negative in your life, something you was fearful, something was frightening, something was sad, something was doubt, any negative emotion you can think of, and click, 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 they'll come up with them just like that. But then you go, can you think of a really good time? Oh, that's a difficult one. Have to think about that. And it takes time. Yes, you can find them. And when you do find them, you might find more. But these negative experiences are in the forefront or easy access to us. In that way, it just seems to, just keep things going. And I've got a brilliant way, or I heard about a brilliant way. I didn't make it up. But hey, we're going to go there in a minute, of letting this stuff go and actually start to think of the things that we want in our life. Now, if you said to me, hey, Cluffy, this is all pretty painful stuff you're telling me. And a more painful question is, what would your life be like if you let it continue in this way? That's right. It is painful. And that more painful question I've just asked, and I had to ask myself this, and I didn't like it very much. What would happen to your life, and what would life be like if you let it continue with these negative things happening? Well, you see, yes, I know my initial thoughts on this was, well, it's not all the time. It's not all negative. But the thing is, that doesn't balance. If you imagine a seesaw, we go back to our childhood, a lovely seesaw. And at one end was the positive things in our lives. And on the other end, there's all the negative things that happened in our life. I can tell you what, if you put equal ones on, the negative would win. Because they do. So it just seems that a negative emotion is more charged than the positive. And the thing is, even if they were level, I know they're not, but even if they were level, one cancels out the other, and your life was full of negatives and positives, they'd be in balance. That would mean that you're living a neutral life. Neutral. Do you want to live a life in neutral? Think about it as a car. Put it into neutral. What happens? Exactly, nothing. Nothing happens at all. You don't go forward, you don't go backwards. Well, you just stay. But life passes you by. And I want to, just for a moment, a little bit more pain. Just a little bit more pain. This is so masochistic, isn't it? What I want you to do is just imagine a life of neutral. What would be the type of things that you'd see in your life when there's no real highs? Okay, there's no real lows, but it's just neutral. What things would you hear? What would be the world telling you? What would you maybe smell in this neutral world of neutrality? Maybe what would it taste like? But even when you put that all together, try to get hold of a feeling. It's pretty bad, isn't it? I don't get any feelings either way when I did this, because I had to do this before while I was making my notes, and I'm thinking, this thing of neutrality, what seemed to be quite a good idea, is actually, I'm not quite sure whether I'd rather have the negatives and the positives and plan all around. And now, here's the thing. What I said to myself in my notes, WTF, I'm not going to say it, but I thought, oh, WTF, Cluffy, where are you taking me? And that's what I thought about you. Where am I taking you now? And that's what you're probably saying, Cluffy, where are you taking me? Well, stay with me just for a moment, because it's going to get really better. You see, this way of using your reptilian brain or using your negative experiences and not quite learning from them and keeping them is a good idea. But, and here's the but, how positive is it? If we could let it go. Imagine this. This is a better question. Imagine this. If all those negatives were to disappear from your life because you've learned from them, so you'd have all those learnings unconsciously stored, so they're always available to you, and you could use all that positive energy with all those learnings, what would you be able to do? That's right. Absolutely blooming anything. And even if you couldn't do the thing you really wanted to, you would have the positive belief that you could learn how to do that. You'd find someone to help you because you would believe that they're out there. You'd see, but I can do that. I just need to practice more. So we can change it because we can. This is where we're going. You see, this is the positive bit. You had the pain. Here comes the pleasure. So you see, this is not a difficult thing to do. It's not difficult. But there's a little but here. It takes effort. It takes energy. You see, it's not free lunch. Nothing. Well, if you know and I do, there is no such thing as a free lunch. You know, you have to turn up. You have to be there. You know something's coming. This takes energy. It takes the will to do whatever it takes. But we've all got that in abundance, especially when you start to focus on where you're going, what you want. And you get that motivation and you get the why. And this is the thing that when we start to just move in this direction, we start doing what I'm going to suggest you do. You tip the switch. So it's not difficult. It's not difficult to just change the switch, but you do have to press it with your finger, don't you? You can't just keep looking at it and say, well, I'll do that sometime. It'll be all right. It'll come on in a minute. You know, I'll do it when I'm ready. No, you press the switch and boom, the light comes on. The aha moment happens. The energy turns on. Energy bringing light to the world, to you. Oh, that was a bit heavy, Paul. So I want you to switch and switch in a way that you can use all those learnings. So let's get out of that old way, out of that not learning from the negatives, not using what we've got, using all those skills. We're going to be safe and we're going to use that one skill that never, ever, 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 how many evers can you get in there, ever goes away. You were born with it. In fact, the younger you were, the more you had it. And all you got to do is tap into it again. What is it, Cluffy? That's what you're saying. Here's what it is. Imagination. So what I want you to do, just for a moment. Okay, we had that little bit of pleasure. We were going to go into deeper pleasure. I want you to just stand up for a moment. What? Yes, stand up for a moment. Give a shake. Give a little ha-ha, laugh. Move around a little bit just to shake off all that old negative stuff I've been talking about. It went in, but I don't want you to keep it in your body. I don't want to hold on to that emotion. Because, you know, when you think about that stuff, we don't want to think about it now. This is a different way. I want you to turn this switch into, now I'm ready to listen. I'm curious. That's right. Set your state. Set your intention. I'm curious. What's going to happen? I wonder what it'd be like if I do what I hear. How much will it affect the goals and the dreams that I have? You see, I want you to imagine something for me. So again, as usual, if you're working the heavy machinery, not material. So if you're working with heavy machinery, please don't. If you're driving, don't do this either. You just need a little bit of time. It's not going to take too long, but you need a little bit of time where you'll be undisturbed because you're going to close your eyes. You don't have to, but it works so much better when you close your eyes because you haven't got that distraction of things happening in front of you. And I want you to, just for a moment. So if you're not going to do this right now, just have a look at what the time is on this podcast. Just have a look now. Make a little mental note. Oh, it's so many minutes. Remember to come back to it. And then just fast forward a little bit back or whatever. You'll be okay. So anyway, if you're with me now, Take a deep breath. Breathe out. And just close your eyes for a moment. We're not going to hypnosis. This is imagination. And I want you to imagine just for a moment, over there in front of you, maybe just a little bit below you, there's that you, another you, just out there in front of you. See yourself over there. That's right. But this time, I want you to imagine that you out there is in the future. This is that future you. And that future you has created and achieved your goals. They've achieved your goals at work or in all your relationships, in all your social life, maybe your hobbies, the things you've learned, things you wanted to learn, anything basically that you have a goal or a dream of, that you over there has achieved it. Look at them now. How do they look to you over there? How are they walking? Look at their body language, their physiology. I'm going to guess, because when I do this, I just see me walking around there with ease, with a comfortable swagger, as it were. And sometimes I'm just dressed in this really relaxing looking clothing because I'm flexible out there. I'm toned. I'm feeling good about myself. I can see from my body language I'm feeling good about myself. There's a smile, there's a knowing smile that I'm okay. And in fact, I'm enjoying the fruits of everything I've done up to now over there. My work's good. My relationships are good. My social life's good. I'm learning things. I'm enjoying things. I'm doing and have had wonderful experiences. Now, you don't have to see all of those things. Just see yourself over there, because you not quite know all the goals and dreams that you over there has achieved, because they'll be the ones you've got now in your head and more. And don't worry if you don't see yourself over there in 2020 vision. Just become aware you're over there, and you can imagine what you look like, what you walk like. And when you do that, I just want you to imagine for a moment floating out of yourself and into that you over there, that you from the future, that you that has achieved all your dreams, your goals, bigger, better than you could ever expect it, quicker than you could ever expect it. And as you float into your body, just look through your eyes from the you from the future. What are you seeing? How do you see the world? How colourful it is, how bright it is. Just notice your peripheral vision. Even notice those pictures in your mind of the new dreams you have, or maybe you just know there's new goals, new dreams there, which you have this belief that you know you're going to achieve. Hear how you speak, hear what you're listening to, having achieved all these goals, how you're setting up the new achievements, the new successes, and enjoying the steps along the way. And when you see what you'll see, hear that inner voice, the one that says, I'm okay, this is great. What else can I do? What can I learn? How can I use this? How can I make a difference in the world? And when you see what you'll see and hear what you'll hear, feel this. Feel this success from the future. That's it. Just feel and feel it. And remember this feeling, because that's all you have to do. Remember it. Now, come back into your body, but just remember that feeling. Just remember that feeling. You could even squeeze a finger and thumb together, just so you can remember it by anchoring it. Hold on to that feeling and come back into you. And notice what it feels like now. Open your eyes. Maybe you want to stand up, shake it off, run around. That's a good feeling though, isn't it? And you see, the reason we come back out of it is that your unconscious mind now knows the direction you're heading, where you want to go, what it's going to feel like. This is what I want. This is the why. The why is this great, wonderful feeling of achievement, success. Now then, if you want to take this a little further, and I really think you ought to, you might want to sit down and think about your individual goals, because this was very general, wasn't it? Now, think in specificity. Don't we love that word, specificity? Think of different sections, areas of your life, and think of the goals you have in each. Now, if you wanted to, you could just do what we did again and just adapt it. But what I'll do very quickly, we'll just do one of them. So you know you've got a goal, yeah? Just pick one goal that you're hoping, dreaming of, that you just want in the future. Yeah? You got it? Just the one. Doesn't matter which context or which area of your life, because it just gives you the idea. And just like we did before, just be curious. Get into that curious state and imagine setting your intention. What can I learn from this? And now, take a nice in breath, let it go and close your eyes. And then, see that you over there. That's that you over the future again. And that you over there has achieved that goal. And in fact, I want you to see that you over there going through the steps to achieve that goal. Just imagine. And I know you're going to see that you over there. You can see them. They're holding that big picture, the big picture, the goal in itself. But also, holding onto that big picture, they're noticing and have pictures of the smaller baby steps, the steps that are going to lead you to that wonderful big picture. You may also imagine that you from the future, as it goes through those steps, may encounter a problem or two, because things happen. But just notice how they've got that belief, that will to do whatever it takes, to go round it, over it, under, because they can know they've got the big picture in mind. They know they've got the will to do whatever it takes, and they've got the belief that it's okay, they're going to do it. And just notice they can get over issues, they can get over obstructions, around obstructions, and then see them having achieved that goal. And if you want to, now you can float into them having achieved that goal, to feel what it feels like to have the success of that goal. See what you'll see, the internal pictures, the pictures from the outside, the internal voice, the sounds outside. Make them so big, bright, colourful, clear, crystal clear, and feel that feeling. And then, when you feel that feeling, just maybe tell your unconscious mind, there, this is it. This is really it. This or something better. Because that's the thing, this or something better. And then come back into you, always come back into you. Open your eyes, look at me. Everything seems brighter sometimes, doesn't it, when we do this? It's awesome. Quick, get up, shake around, do what you want, take a big breath, shout out loud. Hey, Cluffy, that was brilliant. That would be a good thing to shout out, because people would wonder what you're talking about. But you see, you're now telling your conscious mind and your unconscious mind, this is how I want to feel. This or something better. And you see, that gives your unconscious mind the direction to go. Yeah, because you see, sometimes your goal might change. Have you ever had that experience where you know what you're going for? This is the goal I want, and something has come along, even better. And because you haven't got fixed on the goal, you've been able to change paths slightly and get an even better result. And that's what this is about. You're telling your unconscious mind exactly the feelings that you want. This or something better. So as things happen and you move towards that one goal in this particular area of your life, your unconscious mind is looking further, using all your peripheral vision, noticing all the opportunities that will just be able to move you in that right direction, to get you to learn the right things. Now, here's the thing. You can do even more. Even more, you say, Cluffy, is there more? You see, I want you to do something in a little bit the way I might do it, but I want you to do it. And it's so simple. Again, simple. In simplicity, there is genius. And that's what we do here. But it takes that will to do whatever it takes. You have to do it. Because if you're just going to go, that's a good idea, Paul. That's a great idea. And I'm sure it works. Well, you won't find out if it works at all. You see, I don't need you to do anything. I want you to want to. I want you to want to get that old, wonderful journal of yours. Mine's Jenny Journal. In fact, I've got lots of Jennies. And I want you to open up the page, a blank page. So maybe it's a double-sized page. And I want you to know, before you even start this, you can add to it at any time. You can change it anytime. You can evolve things. In fact, I want you to do that, because as we keep imagining in these different contexts and these goals and seeing that future you and going in and out, having those wonderful feelings, saying this or something better, your unconscious mind will see those new opportunities to make things even better. And I want you to have the opportunity to say, wow, now we're moving to a better goal. Now I want you to put it into this journal. Now, what am I talking about? You see, I want you to maybe set aside 20 minutes initially. Now, 20 minutes, everyone's got 20 minutes, haven't they? You could say 5, but 5 wouldn't do it justice. I could say 10, but hey, 20 minutes. 20 minutes just in the evening when it's quiet. Just forget the telly, forget everything. Do you say telly in America? Or is it TV? Anyway, whatever it is, put 20 minutes aside. You might want a bit longer later, but initially, let's do our baby step or baby steps. This is a baby step. I want you in 20 minutes without any criticism, without any thoughts about hows or ifs and maybes and, oh, this sounds impossible. I don't care. I want you to write down all the things you want, what you want to have, what you want to experience, what you want to do, what you want to learn, dreams and goals from every context of your life. You can, if you want to, you can put them into sections. So a bit like that wheel of life, where we draw a circle and then we put it into little segments, or sometimes people call it a pie. I'm going to talk about that another day. And each one is a section of your life or an area of your life. It could be spirituality, could be your health, could be your relationships, could be your career, could be your social life, whatever it is. And each one of those, you could start to write a goal into each part of it. So just split the page up into those sections. Or, if you want to, random. Just let them fill the page up. And that's it. You, for 20 minutes, just write it up. And when you've finished, you might want to neaten it up. Not neating it up for, say that again, not neating it up for aesthetics, but to make it easy to read again. Why would you want to read it again, Paul? Because I'm going to tell you. Because we're going to start to refresh our conscious and unconscious mind of where we're going. Because every time you look at each one of those, little feelings are going to start to come into your unconscious mind. Here's the direction we want to go. And if you want to, you can use this, again, as the basis of that imagination step we were talking about. So you can go back and do the imagination steps, each one. I may well do a little hypnosis for this. So you can actually, once you've got them on a page, you can then do a little bit of this, just to get those feelings even more ramped up. But anyway, you've written everything out on a page. And if it's if it's like a Jenny journal that I've got, which is A4, that when you open up, it is A3, that's a mega size. And that to me would be too big to carry around, because I want you to do something with this. So what I would do is get a card that you can carry around, maybe in your pocket, your wallet, your purse, your hat, put it under your hat if you wear a hat, anything like that. And I want you just to write those down. Doesn't have to be in order, but it could be into sections. It doesn't matter, whichever you choose, it's all about choice, isn't it? And what you do, you write them neatly. I only say neatly because I want you to read them again. And in fact, what I think I'd like you to do, I thought about this and it came to me, is once you've done one card, maybe write out a few of them, maybe 3, 4 or 5, because you could leave them in places where you automatically would just catch them in your vision. So a great one is to put one on the jamb of your door, the door that you go to your office maybe, or the door you go to the toilet. That's a great one because you're always going to go to the toilet, aren't you? And as you walk past, you'll just catch the sight of it, and something will happen, because it's like creating the right type of noise around you. We talk about all that noise getting so confusing and overwhelming us, but this is creating a proper noise, a noise of success. So you might want to put one on your computer. You don't have to look at it all the time, but it'd be there in your peripheral vision, your unconscious peripheral vision as well. You might want to put it on your desk. You might want to put it in your car, just on the dashboard. I don't want to expect you to read it while you're driving, because that would be a silly thing to do, but it's just there. Maybe you put it in a place where it's basically putting it in places where you're always going to be sometime, that you can walk past. Because as I say, this is really getting your unconscious mind to see it in every way you go. Put it on the fridge. Great place where you sneak. Or put it on your beer bottle, your glass. Don't mind. There's so many different places. And the thing is, now I want you to make a commitment. You can say to me, Cluffy, I thought that was the commitment. I've imagined this, I've imagined that. I've got the journal out. I've now written it all on a card and cards, and I've stuck them everywhere. How much more commitment can you want from me? Well, I want more. Because again, it's not difficult, just a little bit more effort. I want you to make a commitment to very quickly read these cards or this card on an hourly basis, every hour. And you're going to say, what, Cluffy, every hour? Yeah, I am perfectly sound in what I've just said. Because it's going to take you less than a minute to read them. I didn't say I want you to think about everyone, imagine it going out there. I just want you to read them every hour. Everyone can do that for less than a minute. All you have to do is go quietly, read it, boom, put it away. This is a great thing I learned from somebody else, and this is all you have to do. Well, not all you have to, because you're going to do other work as well. But this is just going to get your unconscious mind to start noticing all the opportunities for you. It's going to keep that why charged. It's going to keep your motivation charged, keep your excitement charged, your curiosity charged. Because if you do this every hour, boom, but not an instant aha boom, it's going to be a very slowly but quickly and surely way of getting things to change for you. And it will. So, but it's no good saying, well, I did it for a day, Paul. Nothing happened. And probably will happen. You didn't notice it. This is a creeping giant. And it's like that curve that grows exponentially, if I said that right. It starts off slowly and then builds up faster and faster and better and better and faster and faster. And you just don't know on the ride that you're on, because you're enjoying the experience. You're enjoying the adventure, because that's what it's now. It's not a bloody journey. It's an adventure, and you're creating this adventure. We talked about cause and effect, and we're going to talk about it even more now, or not now, but later, because you're at the cause side of events. You're the cause side of every effect that happens, because you're creating these things. And was it difficult to do? Well, you haven't done it yet, but when you do it, if you imagine doing it, is it going to take a lot of time? No. Is it going to take a lot of energy? No. It's not going to take anything other than doing the imaginations, doing your writing out in the journal, and then writing on a card, putting the cards everywhere, and then just reading it every day. We're going to dive into this even deeper when things maybe aren't quite going as fast as you want, because there might be a reason for that. But at the moment, don't think about anything other than the things that you want, the things that are going to happen for you, how they're going to feel. And if you want to go back to the imagination steps again, just to get that feeling even stronger. And then if you get that inspiration, that intuition, add it to your mind. I call it a mind map, because that's how I would do it. But add it to your journal. Add it to that new piece of paper or that little card. Every time you might want to write out that card again every now and again. But remember, maybe at the end of a week, you might just go and have a look through your journal where you wrote things down and go, do you know what? I've had an intuition. I've had a thought. I could expand that even more. I thought I wanted this. But what now I've learned a little bit. This is what I really want. If you, by any chance, as you're walking along or when you wake up or whatever it is, and you have that little aha moment of an idea, write it down somewhere. Record it on your phone. Write it in your notepad on your phone. Use Evernote. Use whatever. I use Evernote for mine, as you know. But use something that you can just record it on, and then in the evening, just spend 5 minutes updating your journal, updating that card, updating the cards you've stuck around. I think, well, in fact, I know, if you actually do this, you will find things will begin to happen. Good things, by the way. Good things will really happen to you. And you're going to be amazed. You're going to look back maybe in a couple of months, if you've done it for a couple of months, and it's 2 minutes a day, Paul. Oh, dear. That's nearly an hour or so over 2 months. Not a big deal. You know, you waste that time talking, going on your you can get that time easy. But you'll be amazed when you look back and review how things have happened, how things have developed, how wonderful new ideas are coming along, how your projects are going even better, how your work's getting better, how your feelings are different, how your confidence is growing, how your self-esteem is getting better, how your circle of friends are getting richer, deeper. The people you didn't really mix with, they've disappeared now because you're just oozing with this wonderful feeling. Anyway, I think that to me, I was wallowing there in a little bit of pleasure of thinking it for myself. You see, when you do this, and you do spend this 2 minutes a day or 1 minute a day, every hour, and you say, well, in fact, what you're being is you're being that uncommon person. Within a group of uncommon people, you are going to be really we talk about all the 1% or being in the top 10%. People just aren't doing this. And you can. You can do this. And you're going to be amazed, really amazed, if you do this for a month or so. And then it's going to become a habit. And this habit is going to grow into different areas of your life as well to get even better and stronger. Cool. It's exciting, isn't it? In the words of Nike, go do it. And that's what I'd like you to do. If you've got the moment when you turn off this podcast, just after you've shared it and shown it to other people, I'll talk about that in a minute. When you've shared it, you then sit down and you imagine, you rewind, you come back, you get your journal out. Even if you can't do your journal or you can't do this, you actually schedule in this evening or this morning or this lunchtime or tomorrow morning at the very, very latest. 20 minutes, half an hour to do all of this. It'll take you 10 minutes to do the visualization, and it'll take you, and even a couple of sections in there as well. That's all it's going to take. And then 20 minutes to write all this out. Get your cards going. So go buy the cards. If you can't do it now, go and buy the cards. They're not big. See, this is not big, but it's very, very clever. That one little thing got me thinking, and I just put it all together. And it just seems to make so much sense to me. I know this has been quite a long podcast, but I think it was worth it. And we're going to explore this deeper in other podcasts, I'm sure, because it's going to get my brain thinking. So until the next time, please just commit, schedule, go do it, okay? But also after you've shown it, okay? And what I'd love you to do, as I always say, but I just really want you to do this, is I know it takes a little bit of time, but share it back to me by email, feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com. And there's a reason, not just to make me happy, because it will make me happy. It'll make me extremely grateful to see what you're doing and how this has affected your life. But by doing it, you're reconfirming it to yourself, because you're having to think about it, type those words in, press send, and you're having to, it's like a review already. You're reviewing the wonderful things you've done. And that just goes another dose deeper inside your unconscious mind to do more. So whilst I do it for my little ego a little bit, but also my thoughts on how I can develop it even further to that integrated field of learning, and I can do more with you, it does something for you too. It reinforces all of this. And as it does in every other podcast where I ask you to do this, but it really does reinforce it when you send me those emails. Anyway, I also might, if you feel it would be a good idea, and you have to let me know, I could always put that imagination on, not necessarily a hypnosis track, but a track to guide you through that imagination. It'll be a little bit hypnotic because I can't help it, but it'd be great. But if you want it, don't have to do it. But if you'd like me to do it, you have to let me know. Anyway, until the next time, please have a listen to what happens in the end, because it's really important. I know your time's important, and this has been quite a long podcast, but do listen to the outros, as I call them, because there's some really useful information, and there's some important information. Okay. Until the next time, my friend, and after the outros, I'll speak to you next time. Have more fun than you can stand. This, what do we say? Or something better. Bye-bye. I thought it would be great to remind you, especially just before you go, of a past podcast way back in the days of #141. And it was called Accept Your Excuses and Find Your Competition. I just thought this seems to just mesh in to what we've been talking about. So you may want to go back there and just have a listen. It's a nice podcast, but it gives you some real insights of how to exceed. Anyway, have a listen to the heads up now, the intro. And if you want to go there, it was #141, Accept Your Excuses and Find Your Competition. And you can find that on your app of choice. Okay. Here's your heads up to what was going to be a 5-minute quickie that's turned out to be over half an hour of giving you ways to get your own personal bests in every area of your life and then beat them. All you have to do is find your competition and use them. Let them Have a listen. So before you leave this unplugged mind of mine, this hypnotic mind, if you enjoyed this podcast or any of the other podcasts, please do subscribe. It helps this podcast grow and affect so many more people. And we love to leave everyone in a better place than we found them, and this will help the podcast. It will help you, and it will help, well, everyone that you know. So if you could just subscribe and share this podcast to everyone you blooming well know. That's the only cost. Pay it forward to everyone, and when you do that, boom, we are all going to make a difference to this little old planet Earth of ours and the people in it. But let's make a good world, a nice world. Okay, you can now prepare to leave this unplugged mind.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.